Welcome back to Global Environment. We're talking about fuel resources. We're talking about efficiency. How much of an option is efficiency? There's another thing we have to think about besides Jevons paradox. It's called maximum power principle. Okay, so power is work over time. Okay, and that's important because a guy named Lotka, early ecologist, realized that living things aren't selected for efficiency, they're selected for maximum power output. So if I'm a tiger and there's a gazelle over there, it's not enough for me just to do the work and get to the gazelle. I want to do it in the shortest amount of time. And that's what power is. It's work over time. So I've got to get there quickly. Now it's interesting because there are trade-offs between rate and efficiency. We could make a steam engine or any kind of engine very efficient, but the rate of that would be very slow. And it's interesting because that, Lotka noticed that organisms are selected for maximum power. Odum came along years later and realized that all systems are selected for maximum power output. Okay? So our economy is selected for maximum power output. And what we're going to see is that maximum power is actually at 50% efficiency. So we'll see that there are trade-offs between efficiency and maximum power. Now, how can we demonstrate that effectively? If we look at this next slide here, this is called Atwood's machine. And there's a story that goes along with this. So Atwood's machine, when it's at high power output, is producing lots of textiles. And this machine is powered by coal. And Atwood's machine is on the second floor of the factory. The coal is on the first floor. And now we have to get the coal up there using a pulley system and elevated rocks. So there's potential energy here. Now, if you had three industrialists having a competition to maximize power, so the amount of textiles that's being produced, they might go about this in a number of ways. One thing they could do, maybe the first industrialist comes up and says, look, I'm going to put a ton of rocks here and a little bit of coal and get the coal up there really fast. So look at this. So they put all these rocks up, a little bit of coal, boom, boom, boom. The rate is very high, but how about the efficiency? The energy in those elevated rocks, most of it is lost as heat when it hits the ground. So it's not efficient. High rate, low efficiency. The other industrialists might say, I can do better. They go, okay, I'm going to put almost as much coal as rocks. So now it goes up like this. So the rate is very low, but the efficiency is very high. Very little of this energy is being lost as heat when it finally hits the ground. So here we have low rate, high efficiency. But what we'll see is both of these first industrialists, they'll have about the same power output. Now, if you put about half as much rocks as you do coal, what you find is you're intermediate in rate and intermediate in efficiency, but you produce the most textiles. You get the maximum power output. And if we graphed everything in between, we'd have something like this, where here we have rate and efficiency. Again, there's trade-offs between these things. And maximum power is at 50% efficiency on average, which is kind of a surprise. And think about it. In real life, again, we could make engines that are very efficient, but if you had a business delivering ice cream, if you had a real efficient, low-rate car or ice cream truck, you're not going to make your deliveries. You're not going to have maximum power. Now, what does this say? What does this say about efficiency on the macro scale? If we drive ourselves to become very efficient in our economy, but our competitors don't, they will have more effective economies than we do. So this says there are limitations to the amount of efficiency we can acquire. And if you think about this with Jevons paradox as well, efficiency has some problems that most people would not realize. So that's important when we put this in a larger context of fuel resources. So we're going to stop there, and I'll see you next time on Global Environment.